Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new series to the channel. Welcome to Glory Hunter. Now, if you're not sure how a Glory Hunter works, the screen that I am on now will explain it all for you. We go across Europe's 5 biggest divisions and we try to win the title and we try to win the main cup in that country. We'll also try and win the Champions League, the Europa League, and the Conference League. It is the biggest challenge I've ever taken on YouTube, but I think I'm up for it. Are you up for it as well? Let's take a look at our first side that we're going to take a look at. We're off to Spain, first of all, with Villarreal. So Villarreal are a side that have been the nearly men for quite some time. Obviously, they have had their ups and they have had their downs over the years, but in the main, they have been sort of around about that Champions League position. That is where we want to be, first and foremost. Obviously, we want to push for the La Liga title. We are in the Europa League, which is a plus. I think first season we're probably going to focus on the Europa League and on the Copa del Rey. If we can get both of them in the bag early doors, that will make this challenge a hell of a lot easier. Then we can push on to win La Liga next season and maybe qualify for the Champions League as well. And with the club vision, it's a very interesting one. So they want youth in the side. You will see in a little while when I take a look at the squad why they want youth. There are a lot of old players within this team. So they want us to sign players under the age of 23. I can do that. And they want us to sign players under the age of 21 for the future. That one might be a little bit more tricky, but we'll see how we get on with that. They want us to sell players for profit when we do sell somebody. We have the transfer window open first time, so we can take a look at bringing a couple of players in to try and help out the rest of the squad. Maximum 1-year contracts for over 33s, 2 years for 31s, 3 years for 29s. Reach the latter stage of the Europa League. I want to go all the way in the Europa League, as I've said, and in the Copa del Rey as well. They only want us to qualify for the Europa League in this first season. Obviously, if we can qualify for the Champions League, that will make things even better. Financially, the club are doing okay. We've got about £12 million to spend, which is good stuff. And we've got a little bit to spend on wages as well. We might look to move some of the older players on to try and balance the books and bring some of the bigger wages out of the team so we can spend it on players we want to come in. Because when you look at what summer Villarreal had, it was a very much a selling summer. 8.5 million for Alex Sorof is the biggest incoming. The rest of them freebies and a couple of minor transfers. Obviously, Nicholas Jackson went to Chelsea. Pau Torres went to Aston Villa. Chukwueze went to Milan. Dia went to Salernitana. And yeah, and a couple of minor changes as well. So we bought in Denis Suarez. We bought in Brereton Diaz, Alex Sorof, as I mentioned, and Matteo Gabillo. So we've bought in a few players, but not for very much money. So here is the Villarreal squad. First and foremost to point out, it is a very old team. It is the oldest team in La Liga, which shocks me, frankly, which means we're going to have to change how we play a little bit. We'll take a look at that shortly. Obviously, Pepe Reina is here. Raul Abadal is here. Etienne Capoue, although he might not be here for much longer, he's on 30 grand a week. Etienne Capoue at 34 years of age. So when I mentioned earlier about freeing up some wages, I had him in mind. Alberto Moreno is here. Gerard Moreno is here. Denis Suarez, as we mentioned. Alex Sorof. Juan Foyth. Brereton Diaz. There's quality throughout the team, including Jeremy Pino, who is one of Europe's biggest prospects. And I'm going to fight tooth and nail to keep hold of him. Shall we take a closer look at some of the key players we're going to have in this first season? Let's do it. And first of all, we start at the top of the pitch with Gerard Moreno. He is going to be a vital cog in this wheel. Pace of 14, finishing of 17, determination off the ball, so movement's going to be very good for him. 31 years of age, but he is a 4-star player. 65 goals in his second spell with Villarreal, and I'm hoping he's going to add a few more to that. Here is the young man we were talking about earlier on, Jeremy Pino. 20 years of age, 3-star, potential to be a 4.5-star player. I'm not pinning my hopes on him, but I am going to try and build a team around him, because he can play out wide, he can play down the centre, he can play behind the striker as well. He is an ideal player for me. He's got pace, he's got ability. If I can unlock it and I can get the players around him to help him, he's going to have a very good season with us. Another one of the bright prospects at Villarreal is Alex Bienya. He is fantastic. Currently 3-star. Again, has the potential to be a 4.5-star player. He's come through the ranks, which is brilliant to see. Homegrown players, I love to try and help them. I do. I try my best. We're going to see a lot of the youth this season with all the competitions we've got to play in. And yeah, he's going to be a very key part as well. Because again, in the youth ranks, there are some very good players here that will find themselves promoted to the first team squad initially through pre-season. I wanted to keep them here now to show you what it was all about. So they've got a mooch from Barcelona. Those that watched the Tottenham series last season will see he came in at the end of it to help us over the line. Scored some good goals, so looking forward to working with him again. Rodrigo Alonso, central midfield player, he looks very good on paper. Alex Ferreira, another good prospect. And looking at the ones that have got more potential, Fabio Blanco, there's a couple already out on loan as well. So yeah, I think we're going to see some of these kids through the season as we try to compete on all three fronts. Tactically, we are going to go with tried and tested 4-2-3-1. It's a tactic that I know very well. It's a tactic I use very often indeed. And we've had to tweak it slightly. So we play with less intensity. The press is not quite as high, and pass into space is on. Because I want to get the wide players in behind the back 4 or back 5 or back 3 of the opposition, and we just leave the middle of the park to do the dirty work, if you like. Obviously, that's where the age is, in the midfield and the centre backs. So we need to try and adapt to help them out, because we don't want to be running at 50, 60 mile an hour every game. It's not going to work. So yeah, that's what we've done with that. Will it work? Well, I suppose we'll find out during pre-season, and if we need to tweak it, we will. So here is the season preview for La Liga. Real Madrid are the favourites to win the title at 10-11. 2-1 for Barcelona, 10-1 for Atletico, and there's us and Sevilla on 33-1. So they think we're going to be there or thereabouts. As I said, we're probably not going to win the title this year. It would be a dream start to the Glory Hunter if we could win the title in the first season. I think we need to just be there or thereabouts. As I mentioned, we'll probably focus on the Copa del Rey and the Europa League first and foremost. Certainly when we get to the later stages of the competition. Obviously, it's still the group format for the Europa League because it hasn't changed yet, which is good. And that will keep us interested in that. Rest of the clubs to look out for: Real Sociedad, Athletic Bilbao, Valencia at 150-1. The usual suspects are going to be there or thereabouts in the European picture. So what we will do, we will go through pre-season, we'll take on Las Palmas, and we will come back for a derby match with Valencia. Couldn't be a much bigger start than that. Obviously, I'm in at the deep end. If we lose to Valencia in our first home game of the season, the pressure is going to be palpable right from the start. So thanks, Fixture Computer. That is all what we needed. So join me next time to see how we get on with that one. We might have a couple of new additions to the squad to introduce to you as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.